Hey everyone, it's been a while. So recently here in Victoria we've been under lockdown, and although that's kind of a negative sort of situation, we can't go out and see our friends and things like that, it's been good. I've been able to sit down and do a few things that I've been wanting to do for a little while, and one of those things in particular was a series of backyard portraits with my wife, Em. So the series of backyard portraits that I wanted to do were kind of in an area where there's this big shrub or big bush kind of thing. It's kind of on the roof at the moment, but it's also kind of creeping its way in the shed, and it's lurking over to the neighbours and things like that. It's really cool, it's super dope. But I really wanted to kind of separate that and kind of use that as a bit of a element to a series of portraits, but not necessarily have it as the main subject. And the way that I kind of did this so that the shrub wasn't the main kind of subject was I kind of separated it with a backdrop and some studio lighting, just so that M could be the main subject instead of this shrub kind of bush. But I think it looks super dope. There's this photo in particular that I made a while ago of it just around sunset, so I kind of wanted to do that in that time frame, but I've kind of given myself a little bit of time with a few different cameras just so I can get a few shots and kind of pick which one's best. So I shot with two different cameras. One was the Leica R3, and this is a 35mm SLR with a 50mm lens, and in here I had Kodak Gold 200. And my second camera that I mainly shot with was a Yashica C, which is a medium format camera. And that was shooting with Portra 160. So Kodak Gold 200 and Kodak Portra 160, they're kind of a similar ISO. It meant that I didn't have to keep on changing exposure values and things like that. I could just kind of rock with the similar settings for both cameras. So that was really fun. Regarding the lighting setup and things that I just used a single studio light. I didn't go crazy with it as I wanted to still kind of keep a lot of detail in that shadow and in that kind of background natural element. So with that one, I kind of went with a 1:2 ratio with the lighting. So I kept the studio lights basically double the brightness of the background scene. And in the background kind of have it that stop difference. So I'm getting a little bit technical here, so sorry if I confused you, but yeah, basically I kind of had it so that there was still a bit of contrast in the scene. My most important tool for this was my light meter. This I use all the time when I'm photographing, regardless of if my camera has got an inbuilt one or not. And this is just because I get reliable results with it. I can read lots of things with it, and you can choose to set whether it kind of reads ambient or kind of constant light, or if it reads light that kind of only displays for a fraction of a second, such as the flash. So it's really handy in this scenario because it meant I could read both kind of styles of lighting and then make my exposure from there. Yeah, that was super handy throughout this shoot. Em did a fantastic job on the shoot. It was great just to have fun with her on a photo shoot. We haven't been out with the intention of taking photos in a long time, so that was really fun. And there was no intention of getting that perfect kind of shot for, I don't know, like a project or a client or anything like that. So we just had fun with it and went along with that. So that was cool. It was pretty funny. Once we finished the shoot, and once I'd shot all of my film, Bella Jane, our poodle, she was just sitting on the backdrop, and she started posing for me, and it's just classic. We were just losing it unfortunately, I didn't have any film left, but I got a few digital photos, so yeah, which is all good. So as soon as lockdown ended, I was able to get my film developed. So I walked into my local lab, which I actually work at. So I'm a film lab technician at Blue Owl Photo Lab at the moment. Which is great fun. It's great to be around film all the time and, help others and things like that. But basically I went in here and developed it with our Jobo tank. It's a rotary processing auto kind of machine. And basically I can develop up to 5 rolls at once. I just threw it in the tank, and within 30 minutes all my film was developed. So after that I needed to dry the film, so just dried it in our super cool cabinet. And then I went to scanning it on our Noritsu scanner. I prefer using the Noritsu scanner. I use it for a lot of customers. It means you can kind of change the contrast a lot more than you can with our other scanners. So I can generally get quite flat film if I want, or quite contrasty film, depending on what the customer's wanting. I prefer flat film, and then I can kind of boost up colors and change things around as I seem fit. Later on, let's check out these photos. After viewing the photos, there's just a few things that I'd do differently next time. So number one was ironing the backdrop before shooting, because it's just a pain to kill in Photoshop, and I don't know, it just stands out like a sore thumb. Another thing that went wrong was throughout the shoot, the Leica R3 started having a few issues where it would basically just freeze up after pressing the shutter button. The only way that the camera would then take the photo was if you shook it, resulting in these kind of crazy warped images. So that was pretty annoying to deal with. Didn't happen all the time, but just occasionally. Pretty much everything for today. Just a few things before I do finish up. If you do live in Bendigo, come and check out Blue Owl Photo Lab. Grab a toasty from Ghosty Toasty, which is right next to us. They're amazing. And if you don't live in Bendigo, you won't get a toasty with this one, but we do offer a mail-in service, and that can be filled out online. Also, if you could follow both Blue Owl Lab and Emmeline on Instagram, that'd be dope. We've got their Instagram handles just below. But yeah, thanks very much for watching all. I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.